Joining me right now in a Fox Business exclusive is the Commissioner of Major League Baseball, Rob Manfred. Great to see you, Mr. Commissioner.
Nice to see you.
Thank you so much for joining us. So what do you think about that? Can you make baseball fun again? And what do you think about that hat?
I take some exception to the idea that baseball isn't fun. I think our sport is great. It provides enjoyment to people of all ages. Having said that, I do agree with some of Bryce's sentiment. I think that this generation of young stars that we have, and we're blessed, we have a lot of great young players coming into the game now, they're going to rewrite the unwritten rules of the game. And because this generation is different, I think that those new unwritten rules are going to be more tolerant of demonstration of emotion on the field, and that's as it should be. It's always been that way with players.
Is there a feeling in Major League Baseball about this election? Do you think MLB is for Trump?
No, I don't think in general. It's interesting. We had a long session on the election with a couple of experts at our last owners meeting, and my sense of the group is everyone was looking to find their footing. No one was quite sure of where they wanted to be with respect to this election. But
really what we're talking about is just when you say making the game fun again. We know that the average viewer isn't old. It's my father. It's my grandfather. It's no secret that the game has been struggling to maintain interest of America's youth and certainly get them into the... Last time you came on, we talked about getting people into the stadiums.
Right.
People watch the game at home.
Right.
So where are you in that effort?
Well, it's really the tale of two different demographic groups. Our broadcast audience is, as you described, older. But, with our online applications and our mobile apps like At Bat, we hit a very different demographic. Our app gets opened 8 million times a day. The average age of the person who opens that app is under 30 years old. So we feel like we are reaching a younger audience in a little different way, and we intend to continue to use technology in order to have a younger and younger audience attracted to the game.
So you feel like you're doing that? We do feel like... And you've used technology very well in that regard. I know that. We
do feel like we're making progress in that regard, but I think it's going to be an issue that the sport's going to have to continue to work very hard at to make sure that we capture the next generation.
Let me ask you about the U.S. military paying professional sports teams for pregame celebrations, calling it paid patriotism.
Right.
Now, baseball has been obviously caught up in this controversy. The Atlanta Braves topping the list. Will you follow in the NFL's footsteps and have the teams return the money?
We've looked very carefully at the contracts where baseball is involved, and frankly, we don't find a lot of evidence of what they refer to as paid patriotism. There are some contracts where the military has paid, for example, for re-enlistment activities in the ballparks. There's government money appropriated for that, but very, very minimal expenditures on the type of paid patriotism activities that they were critical of. More important for us, we've spent over $10 million in the last decade on Welcome Back veterans. We just built a field at Fort Bragg and are going to play a game there on the 3rd of July and leave the field as a donation to the military. If you look at the balance sheet, baseball is a tremendous charitable supporter of the military.
Yeah, for sure. Well, the collective bargaining agreement back to expire. Where are you on this? It could have a major impact on the future of amateur drafts, good or bad?
Well, we're hard at it. We are meeting with the union. As a matter of fact, members of my staff meeting today in Chicago with the union, and getting the issues out on the table. We got a nice early start. We've worked very hard at our relationship with the Players Association, and I'm optimistic we're going to be able to make another deal.
What about Muhammad Ali passing, the Midsummer Classic approaching? It's hard to forget the iconic appearance at the 2004 All-Star Game. Right. Your thoughts on Muhammad Ali this morning?
Well, Muhammad Ali has always been a favorite of mine. As a matter of fact, I've long had a picture of Ali in my office. I don't have a lot of pictures of athletes. It was a sad day, I think, for all sports.
Look at that video. That's amazing.
He was really something. I got to meet him on a number of occasions when he was in our ballparks, and he's a special human being. He
really was a special human being, the greatest, and we've been talking about him now all week. ESPN's Howard Bryant recently criticized the practice of police officers singing the national anthem. Want to know where you you stand on this. Nobody seems to care much about the authoritarian shift at the ballpark, yet the media and the public are quick to demand accountability from players they consider insufficiently activist. That was his quote. Is that a fair criticism?
Well, look, I've known Howard a long time. He's got right to his opinion. My own view is that baseball has correctly long supported law enforcement. They're important to our business. Law enforcement officials provide stadium security for us, and I'm pretty comfortable with the idea that it's a good practice to have police officers sing the national anthem.
So you're gonna keep doing it.
We are going to keep doing it.
Yeah. Now you got the All-Star game around the corner. How's the team shaping up for that?
Well, we're really excited about the All-Star game. We got an array of young stars that I think will make this year's game particularly interesting. The emergence of players like Bryce Harper, Chris Bryant, the continued dominance of Clayton Kershaw, I think will be really exciting. And we've got a great venue this year, San Diego. You can't ask for a better spot for
Are the Yankees going to make the team?
Well, there'll be a Yankee on that team.
How about the Mets?
The Mets will be no problem.
The Mets are doing well this season.
Yeah, they're playing great.
The World Baseball Classic comes back in February. How's baseball maintaining the global reach compared to other sports? And this is important.
Yeah, it is important. The Olympics are a very difficult issue for us because of the calendar. So we do the World Baseball Classic as a substitute, our major international tournament. Our players love it. They really like the opportunity to play for their country, and we think the 2017 event will be the best ever. You
feel like you've got the country all eyes on you because it is America's great pastime. I mean, you've also got the world watching, particularly when you have things like Marlon Byrd still getting caught using PEDs. How hard is it enforcing a drug-free environment at MLB?
Well, it's a constant challenge, and it's not just MLB. Performance-enhancing drugs are an issue in all sports. We feel, and the World Anti-Doping Agency actually agrees with us, that we have the best testing program in the world. When one of our players make a mistake, our fans can rest assured that we are the most likely to catch that player of any professional sport.
Where does Pete Rose stand with the league today? Any thoughts of how he gets reinstated?
Look, from my perspective, the Rose situation is resolved. He made his request for reinstatement. I dealt with it. There was a written opinion explaining why I felt the way I did, and it's up to Pete at this point.
All right, well, we'll be watching that. And before you go, real quick on technology, is there anything we should be looking at or expecting in terms of technology and its use at the ballpark?
Well, I think the next big step for us, as all sports, is going to be virtual reality. We just debuted a really interesting mobile exhibit from the Hall of Fame that has virtual reality components to it, and it's the beginning of us working into that area.
That is the hottest area. We talk about it all the time, and part of it is because you put that headset on and you're right there.
Right. It is an amazing technology. The headset's a little much for me right now, but I'm sure it's going to get smaller, lighter, and better as we move forward.
By the way, how was Cuba? You're just back from Cuba.
Cuba was fantastic. Yeah. Really an interesting experience and great for the sport.
Rob, great to see you.
Good to see you.
Thank you so much for joining us. Rob Manfred there.